All right, everybody, welcome back. In this super quick video, I just want to give you a quick, no BS answer to a question I get a ton is, Clint, should I hire people that are overseas, that are cheaper for my business, or should I be hiring US-based folks? And the truth is, there's no perfect answer. There's no really best way to do it. I'm just going to share with you what's worked for me. I'm generally a little more picky on people I hire. Some people aren't. So I'll kind of give you what's worked for me in the past and maybe how you should think about it. Okay, the number one piece of advice I can give you, probably said that a few times in this course by now, but it's okay. The number one piece of advice I can give you as you scale your land business is to retain your good talent. Retain your good talent. Whether it's overseas, whether it's US based, I don't care. You never know when the good employees are going to come through. Those are the people that differentiate your business. So the biggest piece of advice I can give to you is whether you find someone overseas, whether I say maybe this position's better for US and you find someone overseas, or vice versa, maybe you get somebody in the US for an overseas position, whatever, okay? The big important thing is make sure you retain your talent. People who understand land and can help you execute on your vision are very few and far between. It's why it's hard to find people. It's why it's the normal bottleneck in scaling is hiring. It's because it's just challenging, okay? So when you find people, if you take one thing away from this is make sure you retain them, okay? Make sure you retain them. That means good pay, good training, good hours, not being flaky, not paying well below market, not being a cheapskate, right? You've got to invest in your people if you want to grow your business. So at high level, I just want to share that as we jump in here is retain your talent. Okay, so for overseas VAs, just reading off some notes I have on my screen here, generally you're going to be more disposed to repetitive tasks, okay? So I like to think of VAs that join my team, I like to think of them in charge of specific tasks, okay? Especially overseas VAs. So maybe somebody edits videos, that's their task. Maybe somebody preps leads that come in, that's their task, right? That's a repetitive task. And oftentimes you can find somebody overseas who will work 20 or 30 or 40 hours a week for you at a really great price. And they can help you with a lot of those repetitive tasks, back in office management, taking this contract and sending it out to this person, right? A lot of the repetitive things that you find you do in your business, oftentimes you can find a VA overseas to do those for a very reasonable rate. So another thing I'll share here is places like Upwork and Fiverr. You've probably heard that before if you've been, if you're in any sort of entrepreneurial venture. If you're brand new to the entrepreneurial world, Upwork.com and Fiverr, Fiverr.com, are a place where a lot of overseas talent will go and they'll post their skill set. So you can go on there and hire people for $6, $7, $8 an hour. Again, I don't think those are your like mainstay employees, but you can find a lot of really good talent on those websites. And that's generally where we go and where we find our overseas talent. Other places to look, onlinejobs.ph. This is a Philippine website. It's one of the main websites where people in the Philippines go and post and search for jobs. So that's a great website. There's also services out there. My business, we actually have a service for this. So if you're looking for somebody that can help you with marketing or help you with acquisitions, it's very expensive, but we hire them and we train them for you. So that's something that you can reach out for. We'll have our information below if you want to learn more about that. But there's other companies that will do it cheaper without the land spin on it. Places like Rocket Station VA, myoutdesk.com. Those are just a couple. I'll make sure they're all linked below. Again, we do internally, we help people source and place good overseas VAs in your business. It is expensive because it takes 4 to 6 weeks of hands-on training and work with them. But if that's something you're looking at, you have a high 4 or 5 figure budget, please make sure to reach out to us below. And if that's something you're interested in, we can coordinate and chat a little more. Okay, just gonna read off some tasks I have written down here that we have overseas VAs do. First touches on both sales and intake. So I think it's really important to have people answer the phones when they call. So we have people that are on staff during all working hours answering phones. First sales touches, marketing coordination like I've discussed about, front-end acquisitions, follow-up. Those are general things. Again, like I said, things like video editing, photo editing, due diligence. There's people on Fiverr and Upwork that can do title work and research for you. Overseas VAs are gonna be very generally task-oriented. If you find somebody that is willing to give you time to come in and work for your business, half-time or full-time, and they're good talent, man, I just generally recommend that you take them up on that. Even if your business is just a little early stages, take them up on that, hire and retain those people because they will seriously help you grow. Okay, so pivoting over to US folks, if you go back to the previous video, you saw my org chart, right? As you move up, like I said, I'm kind of picky. As you move up into more of a specialized role in the business, oftentimes those are US-based people for me. Okay, I am just a little bit picky. I do like having my staff in the US, specifically even more recently I only hire local staff now. And that's just because my business has grown, and as we move into offices and do things like that, I want to have my local talent here. But US-based people are really who I rely on and lean on for decision making in the business, right? For the person that can help you decide if it's a good price or not. For the person who can help you sell the property, who can help you do the paperwork, who can look at the closing documents and give you their remarks. And you can take that like as the word, like as correct, right? After you train them. That's generally in my business who those people are. They're generally the land specialists. They always start below. They start in one of the more grunt work type roles and they work themselves up. So as your business grows, I find that one person can do 40 or 50 deals a year. If you've talked with me ever or watched any of my videos, you've probably heard me say that. One person can do 40 to 50 deals a year. So how we build the business is we want to have one person that can manage that that can manage that workload, and then we build in a lot of the repetitive tasks underneath them. Okay, and then that right there is the structure. You replicate that, and eventually you have 2, 3, 4 people on your staff, and you have the repetitive task knocked out underneath them. That's generally on a high level how we think about hiring US versus overseas. People always ask, Clint, how much do you pay people? I always do hourly. For overseas, I always do hourly plus incentive. So whatever their task is. Closed deals, sales, marketing, listings created, whatever they're doing for us, they get an incentive bonus based on what the task is, right? So for example, we pay our acquisitions overseas VAs. I pay them, again, I like to pay them above market. So I pay them about $15 an hour, and I give them $100 to $200 per close, depending on the scenario. So what that means is they make way more money than their counterparts who are getting chopped off for $6, $8, $10 an hour, and they're getting bonuses. So like that's a very, very high paying salary for somebody who works overseas, which is surprising. You can get really, really good talent for that. So again, if you find people like that, I always say pay them better, retain them, because the little extra money you spend on them will go a very, very long way in your business. So for US-based people, the pay really is just super dependent on where they live, what they're expecting, what their previous work experience is. I like to go off a cash flow model. So most of my US people are paid based on sales. So for example, they'll have a base salary, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, depending again on their experience. And then they'll have a kicker or they'll have a bonus. And again, this looks so different for everybody, but this is just a high level is we'll pay them a salary and then we'll generally pay them based on sales. Since their job at the end of the day is normally to help run new deals all the way through sales, right? They're the account manager, they manage the deal. We often pay them, or we always pay them based on the sale of the deal. Now look, this is just kind of a brain dump of who to hire, when to hire, how much to pay. Don't let this overwhelm you, okay? Again, especially if you're new or just getting started here, I just like to give you some clarity, give you some thoughts so you feel like you know what direction you're headed. But at the end of the day, right, and I'll cover this in the next video, who to hire first. You need to hire somebody to take care of the stuff that's eating your time up, right? There's nobody that's ever bought a business that was just based on one person. So if you can't productize and package up what you do and how you think about land and execute it into a business, really you always only have a hobby. Because nobody's gonna come and buy you. They're not gonna come and buy your brain, or they probably won't at least. What they will buy is a set of systems, a set of employees, people, and structure that can take land from new opportunity to closed sale and made money on it, right? So this is really how I want you to think about hiring is, where am I spending my time? What are things that I could automate with software? What are the high leverage tasks in my business that I need to delegate? I'll give you a little shortcut in the next video on the 2 biggest spots, kind of where to start on that. But that's really where you need to think. And then you just kind of got to fill in the holes. Does it make sense to hire US? Does it make sense to hire overseas? What's my budget? What can I pay right now? All the things. So it does look different for every person, every business. Hopefully this video gives you a little bit of context on how we think it through. And we'll see you on the next video, who to hire first.